Hello. What's up, everybody? Wow, this is sick. That's quite a few people pouring in. What's going on, everybody? Thank you to everybody that is showing up on time. As usual, we're just going to take it slow as we wait for more people to come in. So I'm not sure if anybody's seen our comms today. Today is our big hello from Rhys, our new head of community. How you doing there, Rhys? Are you in? Are you logged on?
Hello. Hey, Anwar, how's it going, man?
Amazing. It's good to have you here. It's another good edition of the town hall.
Yeah, this is awesome.
So what's been up with you today? You want to tell everybody what time zone you're in, where you're at?
Yeah, so obviously I'm currently based in the UK, so what now? UTC +1 or whatever? So it's just getting into the afternoon now. It's actually quite a nice day for once. Obviously, I think the UK is pretty known for being pretty miserable, but we've actually got a bit of sun, so it's quite rare.
Oh man, it's a beautiful day in Istanbul. UTC +3. I had a good walkout earlier. Amazing weather. I think summer is just about coming in, so it's good times.
I haven't seen the outside for days. All I see is the Bitcoin chart.
Victor. Everybody, Victor needs a hug.
I need Bitcoin to go up. I don't need a hug.
I need that too. Wow. Okay, a bunch of people have showed up. I think the Twitter Spaces is a good thing here. Okay, just want to do a little mic check. Alex is in, Victor's here, Rhys, everybody, Manuel, amazing. I think we are looking good. How's your first week been so far, Rhys?
Oh, it's been amazing, bro. Obviously, settling in as, the new head of community at IDEX and meeting a lot of the team. Kind of like to say publicly that everyone on the team is awesome. Like, I haven't really worked with such a great group of people in a long time, and it's good to finally connect with some people that get it in this space.
Yeah, man, super stoked. I promise he wasn't forced to say that, so we're super excited to have Rhys here as well. So, okay, I think that is looking like a good amount of people. So I think I'm going to begin with the intro. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining. This is the third community town hall for all the updates you need on the world's first Layer 3 exchange. We've been doing well to keep up this 2-week thing, right? We're actually really feeling the connection with the community. So we hope this Twitter Spaces thing will actually bump that up a notch. We're just trying to get more and more involved with you guys. We want to be as connected to you as possible. So yeah, we look forward to the feedback on what you guys think of this format too. So once again, if there is any alpha to be found, you're in the right place. This is the place to find it. If you guys might have caught our comms these past couple of weeks, you will also know that we'll be handing out limited edition NFTs or JPEGs or whatever you want to refer to them as. And they are only available here on the community town hall. So just before I hand it over to Alex to do the product and engineering updates, I just want to do a quick little reminder to make sure to tweet your questions or comments to the Ask IDEX hashtag, because that's how we will find these at the end. As always, as Alex and team speak, feel free to drop us those questions and comments, and those of the highest quality and the most intelligence that are the most relatable to what is being said can be acknowledged with a limited edition, limited quantity NFT. Winners will be tracked down by their questions or comments within 24 hours. So once again, with that Ask IDEX hashtag, that's super important. And remember to beware of imposters when being contacted with winning instructions. It will actually be Manuel contacting you this time. So through Twitter DMs, obviously, because we're on Twitter Spaces. And his handle is @_Manuel, and he is in the Twitter space right now. So please make sure that is correct. And yeah, one final additional reminder. If you are in here, please screen cap yourself attending this town hall or Twitter space, because you will be able to complete that Zeely quest. So that quest is basically you attending this town hall, and we're going to verify that with the print screen. So if everybody can do that now, that will be awesome. And we do hope all of you are already taking part in the Zeely quest. So give you guys a little second to do that. And I'm going to give a little heads up to Alex, because I think we are just about ready to begin with the product and engineering updates. How you doing, Alex?
Hey, what's up, Anwar? Doing well, thank you.
Good to hear from you. All right. It's all yours, sir.
Great. Thanks everyone again for attending. Awesome to see the turnout here week over week. As Anwar said, the goal with these is to just be in more constant communication, give you some insights into what's going on behind the scenes, especially as we're gearing up and getting closer to launch. The last call that I did, I tried to give an analogy to describe how we go about our product development process. And I used an airplane at the time, but I think it's better to say that we're building a rocket ship here. And that basic idea is that for something as complex as that, you want to break it down into all these different components. You've got the engines, the fuselage, the electronics, et cetera. And then you get to some point where you put it all together before setting it off into space. And that's kind of where we are now, is at the integration phase of our own rocket ship with the new version of IDEX. So all the pieces were developed independently, kind of tested one by one, and now we're putting it together. So if you think about the big components of your crypto exchanges, you've got the trading engine, the web client / UI, the API, but also a lot of other components that are unique to the on-chain settlement element of IDEX. So the smart contracts, cross-chain bridge support, Oracle prices that are ingested on-chain. All these different pieces have been built and tested independently, and now we're at the point where we're putting it all together, which is bringing up its own new set of discoveries and insights. Thankfully, most of them have been pretty small. Things we're able to just tackle kind of one by one as they come up and move towards the first version being deployed on testnet. Yeah, in terms of major milestones over the last couple of weeks since we last spoke, big one is that all 3 smart contract audits are now completed, and I only identified a handful of medium and low priority issues. So we decided to go with 3 different auditors for this launch because the complexity of the smart contracts is higher than things that we've done in the past, and also we're introducing new elements with the concepts of margin and liquidation. So we wanted to get a host of perspectives on our design, which we did by seeking out 3 different auditing firms. And as I said, they came back with about a dozen issues across the board, across all 3 of them, and they were classified as medium or low priority. What that means is that there's no risk of loss of funds. It's really about improving the user experience or perhaps making one area a little more secure. So we went ahead and have made changes for all of those different issues. They were developed, reviewed, and deployed in this past week. So now we have our smart contracts reflecting all of the feedback that we received from the auditors. So unless anything else comes up in integration testing, we can say that at this point, the smart contracts are 100% complete, which is an awesome milestone and obviously a base requirement to getting this thing live. Other major updates. So the API, the way to think about the role of the API is you have this this back-end system, your balances, your collateral, your matching and execution, all of the kind of the guts and brains of the system. And then you need a way to communicate with that either through the web client, so the information that you see when you're in the UI, or directly via our API connection. And so we've been focused on making those changes in our API to both feed into the web client and what you see in the UI, as well as what more professional or sophisticated players will be doing by communicating with that API directly. So we have an existing API system with our current version, and it's all about updating it to reflect the changes we're making with the layer 3. So there's 2 components to the API. The first part, the REST API, is complete, and we've now shifted our focus to the WebSocket. Basically, you can just think of those 2 different elements that together create a fully functioning API that allows us to serve traffic both through our web client as well as to people directly. And then lastly, we've implemented and completed support for modular index pricing. So index prices are used to understand the price of the contracts or the assets on other exchanges. Those index prices drive things like liquidations and help us understand what the value of the assets actually are on spot markets, and drive things like liquidations and funding rates. It's extremely important that we have an index price at all times, and we wanted to make sure that we weren't stuck in a situation where if we go with one index price / Oracle price provider and they have an issue, whether that's an outage or downtime or something more severe, that our product has no recourse. And the time to put in these kind of backups and fail safes is now before you launch rather than right in the midst of some crisis. So we've added what we're calling modular index price support, which allows us to incorporate backup pricing options for our Oracle and index prices so that if there's an issue with our primary index provider, we're not stuck with the exchange not functioning while they get their issues resolved. And then the kind of the last bucket of things is what we're just calling integration fixes. So these are things that are identified as we're putting it all together. So again, you can imagine these things, we kind of have our set of specs and design docs that tell us what to build. But until you build, there's going to be much kind of more detailed level of decision making that happens when you actually write the code and see the application come to life. And so once you start putting these pieces together, it's where you can see maybe there were some different decisions or some inconsistencies in how we had designed things. And so we see that once we start putting it all together. So those are some fixes that we made in liquidation service, position service, API, all these different components that make the layer 3 perps exchange work. And then, one of the exciting elements is that we're really deep in the web client development. The web client is what you think of colloquially as the website. So when you go to our URL and you see the exchange presented to you, that's called the web client. And we're in that point where we're making really kind of fine detailed decisions around, how should numbers be formatted? Does this font size look right to you? Really kind of the low level specific kind of decision making where you're in that stage where you're really putting polish on the client before being able to open it up. So this is exciting because all the work behind the scenes, it can feel a little abstract. You can see these systems working from kind of a command line interface, but it really comes to life when you have something that you can, kind of touch and feel in the form of the web client. And we're getting really close to that point where we'll get our hands on that internally, and we're definitely going to be giving more glimpses of that publicly so that you can see how all that progress is coming along. And that's it for my end on the engineering and product.
Thank you so much, Alex. Yeah, very exciting stuff. We're moving along very, very well. So, okay, moving along. Just want to give a little shout out to all the people that still have their purple squares. So that is awesome. But yeah, now I'm actually going to hand it over to Rhys, who is going to tell us a little bit about his vision. Rhys, are you ready?
Yeah, let's jump straight into it. Obviously, I'd like to give a little bit of information about myself. Obviously, I see some familiar faces in here, but I also see a lot of new faces, which is great. Just to give a bit of background, I've obviously been on CT like over the last couple of years, kind of going to some of the events, meeting some really cool people. I initially was like a part of a lot of communities, right? And then it obviously kind of evolved into me growing some of my own communities. And most notably, the most recent venture for me was at SDFX, where I led an ambassador program with a lot of familiar faces that you may know on CT. And then obviously during my time there, I curated like an active trading community that's going strong today. I want to bring some of my best elements from my past experiences to IDEX, whilst also like expanding on some of the existing and introducing some new initiatives for you to get involved with. When it comes to my vision for IDEX, obviously I want to build this kind of community of core traders where anyone's welcome. And I know we've got a lot of like smaller accounts in this audience right now, are obviously amazing traders, but you may not have your own voice yet. And I want to create a community where you do have your own voice, and that it doesn't matter about the size of your account. It matters about what you know and kind of who you are as a person. That's more important to us at IDEX. I want you to also feel as if you were a part of obviously the success that we are kind of working towards as the new IDEX on layer 3, and to also be proud about what we accomplished together. Often there's like a wall between the community and the team, and I don't really want that to be the case at IDEX moving forward. I want there to be very clear communication between myself and the team and the community, and therefore like no walls, like just an open door for us to communicate freely through. And I want our initiatives moving forward to not be just my initiatives, but our initiatives as a community, so that we can build them together and we can enjoy them together. I want to also touch on some of the initiatives that I have planned in the future. Obviously, I mentioned the fact that I want to curate a community of traders, and the way that I plan to do that is by kind of revamping our existing Discord to make it more into a trading hub server, whilst also keeping some of the elements of keeping up to date with the latest with IDEX. I also want to work with Anwar here to create a bounty board for you to submit your ideas, for you to kind of create things for IDEX. And I want it to be a bounty board where it doesn't matter what type of person you are, right? Like, I know we've got people who are artists in our community, we've got coders in our community, and we've got people that just have great ideas. And I want to create a bounty board that anyone is able to submit to. And then one of my last initiatives at the moment is for us to obviously expand to other social media platforms, for us to kind of share our content and share the content that you create to be kind of seen by more than just people on crypto Twitter, right? So by expanding to other platforms, we'll be able to share your content to people that wouldn't normally be able to see it. And then obviously some final notes from me here as the head of community. Obviously, I'm committed to ensuring transparency in all our initiatives moving forward that we will be building together. And I actively will be seeking your input and feedback on any initiatives or changes at IDEX moving forward. Thank you.
Awesome. Amazing. Super excited. So yeah, everybody give a big welcome to Rhys. He's probably going to be one of the most visible people with the project you'll be seeing in the incoming future. So yeah, I hope everybody likes what they're hearing, and I know I do, and I'm looking very forward to what we're going to be doing together, and personally working with him on the projects that we have together. So okay. I want to give a big shout out to everybody that has already asked questions. Actually, there's quite a lot here. I just want to give a little warning that we may not be able to get through all of these live, but the thing is, this type of feedback is amazing. So this is more than we could ever ask for. So, okay, if Alex, Victor, and team are ready to field some questions, this first one is from @AnBuyInfo, and he asked, are we planning to list in any new DEXes in the near future? And I think that's a great question.
Sorry, can you repeat it? I didn't quite understand. Is it asking about IDEX token on any new DEXes?
No, are we going to be listing on any new on-chain DEXes, I think?
Yeah, I think he's referring to the IDEX token, if I had to guess.
Got it.
Oh.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess not to fully directly answer, I don't know about new DEXes. I think the big challenge is on-chain liquidity and having deep on-chain liquidity accessible to users who don't want to have to use a centralized exchange to purchase the token. So that is something that we are, is kind of a goal and a discussion of ours internally. Right now, we're addressing that with the IDEX USDC pool on IDEX V3. That's the most liquid place to get the token on-chain at the moment. And we're exploring other options with the launch of the Layer 3 version of where we want to have that liquidity hosted, if you will, so that users have both centralized exchange options, but also on-chain, non-custodial ways to get access to the IDEX token.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for that. And well, here's the first of probably many. When can we enjoy the new Layer 3? So if anybody's been paying attention to our comms, it's actually, we're aiming for the end of summer. So watch out for any updates on that. So I will move forward from one. Here's a question that is asking, with the current market situation, will it be possible to get the roadmap forward? I'm not really sure what you're asking there, but I know that we don't really pay attention to the current market situation much. We just try to build the best project that the best product that we can possibly build. So I will skip through that one too.
One just comment on the roadmap. We'll be updating as we move up towards launch. We'll be updating what our projections are for launch, as well as what we're going to focus on afterwards. So I think that's an area where we'll want community feedback on features and product additions that we can prioritize based on what you guys want to see. We've got our own vision of what is needed for this first MVP to launch, and then afterwards we're going to need to work with traders in the community to prioritize what's going to be added first going forward.
All right, amazing. So we have a question here from Alex_Moreno_H, and he's asking, how many pairs will be available in the new version?
We're going to start with just Bitcoin and ETH, the goal being to build up liquidity, usage, and just kind of a level of robustness around those market pairs before expanding. So I guess one of the models for a perpetuals platform is that introducing leverage introduces risk into the system. And so you have things like the insurance fund and ADL to help mitigate that risk, but you really don't want to tap into those unless absolutely necessary. And there are other ways to control the risk while you scale this thing up, get more liquidity, volume, make it just a more robust platform. And one of the key ways to do that is to limit the number of assets that can be traded. If you launch with 100 pairs and some of them are illiquid, more volatile assets, that's going to introduce much more risk into the system. So with that in mind, we're starting with 2 pairs and we're going to scale up. It's going to be a balance between how quickly we can add new pairs to meet demand from the market, at the same time knowing that each time we do it, it does increase the risk slightly, and we want to feel confident that the exchange has been battle tested.
Let's go. Okay. The next question is from Crypto Fighter 15, and I think this one is for Victor. What are your future plans for all the local communities of IDEX?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. The way we kind of see it developing is we really want to build out a playbook that we can replicate locally. And what this really means is we're starting out with a key region like the Spanish-speaking community and trying to gain an understanding of all the different initiatives that we can create within that local region or community that can then be replicated across all the different ones, including, Turkey, China, Taiwan, all the South American regions, and so on. Additionally, Europe, obviously. And really what that means is in-person events, online communities like Telegram and the Discord channel, and different kind of activities that the community will do. Ultimately, it also comes down to the ambassador program, which we will be ramping up slowly as we go into launch, and then ramping up very aggressively post-launch, since we'll have a lot more tools at our disposal to be able to grow those local communities. So that's basically the plan, is to create a playbook that consists of a number of different initiatives that we can basically then copy-paste across all the different regions where we really want to be active in.
Yeah, so we're definitely looking at that area and all those little areas that we want to build as we go along. So, okay, here's another one from @RugEth0. So he's asking, basically, he's saying there are hundreds of perp DEXes. Why IDEX V4? What makes us different from all the other perps DEXes popping up? I think it's a decent question. Alex, do you want to take that one?
Absolutely. We look at this from 2 different perspectives. First, there's just building a better product. So yes, there are tons of different perp DEXes. How many of them are actually getting any usage? There's a handful. And that's because they've made good, solid products, but it doesn't mean there isn't an opportunity to improve upon them. So that's kind of our key focus. And, one of our guiding principles is that if you just do everything 10% better than the next person, whether that's the way you've built the product, the performance of the product, some of the simple just UX things that just make it that much easier for users to get onboarded and integrated with the system, those all compound to give you a massive lead in the market. So that's kind of our philosophy from the product and execution side, from the business side, is to just do 10% better than what our competitors are doing. And I think you'll see that reflected in the quality of the product that's brought to market. The second piece is on user acquisition and marketing side. Our team has done an absolutely amazing job getting the word out about the upcoming product, making a name for IDEX within the Twitter community, and doing so without a live product to direct people to in terms of the Layer 3 version. So that's an amazing task, and I can't wait to see how much better they're able to perform once we actually have a place to direct all the energy and enthusiasm and excitement that they're able to build within the community. And so, if you look at the way we've been able to execute a lot of our different initiatives on the marketing side, I will say there is no other team that has the creativity or just the idea production that our team has here, and I can't wait to unleash them on the new version.
That's right. We're going to be better than all the other ones. Okay. Next question. I think this one is a related question, so Victor, heads up. We have AEK asking, if you are strictly a user of the IDEX platform, will you be given an opportunity to enter the whitelist? So this is without having to go and do Zeely or any of the other various events or quests. Will there be something there for whitelisting of strictly users of the IDEX platform? Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. That definitely makes sense. I think the person is essentially asking whether or not previous users of IDEX of previous versions will automatically be eligible for the whitelist. There's a few points I want to touch on before I directly answer that question. One of those is the whitelist beta and whitelist spots in general. I think in some sense we have underplayed the value of those spots, and it's something that we're going to be working hard to fix over the next 2-3 weeks here as we start to roll more of them out. And I think the other kind of the flip side of that coin is I think the community has completely misperceived the value of those whitelist spots. This will probably be the only time I talk about this directly, but I think the value of those spots is significantly higher than what you guys expect it to be at the moment. I'll say that beyond getting access to the beta and getting an early kind of peek at what the product looks like, there's going to be a lot of additional benefits to having that whitelist spot. And so I want to make sure that it's not, incredibly easy to obtain, because for us, what the whitelist program really means is having a few hundred extremely dedicated users that are there, maybe not daily, but at the very least weekly during the beta period, and are consistently, one, testing the product, and two, giving us valuable feedback so we can make sure that when we do the grand opening and the grand launch, we have an incredible first impression with the rest of the users, right? So given that we want this really tight-knit community and kind of base of like a few hundred traders, it means that we have to be, one, very specific with who we give the list spots to in terms of both activity, knowledge of trading, experience trading, basically engagement within the community and many other factors. But it also comes down to the fact that we really want to make sure that they're rewarded for participating in the whitelist beta and working hard to actually get that whitelist access. So to sum it up, yes, there's probably an opportunity for previous users of IDEX to gain access to the whitelist. Ultimately, we feel like there's not 100% crossover between our past users and our future users, given the fact that it's a perpetual futures product. But again, really I want to stress the fact that you want to be getting these fucking whitelist spots. Like you really want to be fucking getting them. If I was in your shoes, I'd be willing to kill my neighbor for one. I'll just leave it at that.
That is amazing. Best. Okay. All right. So we're moving on to the next question. Okay. That's another difference question. We'll skip that. Will there be a section on the new exchange for people to trade popes? He thinks it'll be a fun thing, or he or she thinks it'll be a fun thing. I think at this point in time, we are still thinking about the utility of popes. There will be some utility, but exactly what we are still deciding. But a section to trade them on the new exchange, we will think about that one. So, okay, thank you for that question. Moving forward, Ginail XEC. In crypto, products are often driven by memes, hype, and trends. How will IDEX pivot and say, okay, I think this is a positioning question. So the crypto market moves fast. So will IDEX be doing things to kind of pivot and, try to jump on hypes to kind of stay ahead? I think this is a question for Alex. Does that make sense? Or Victor, whoever wants to take it.
Yeah, I can definitely take that one. Ultimately, I think you've seen how nimble and dynamic the team has been, and I think will continue to be. Especially with the addition of Rhys, I think we've really filled out the complete package at this point from the marketing community and growth team. And what it really means is that staying on top of trends is our top priority, because we've obviously recognized the fact that a lot of our value from the marketing side has come from tapping into trends happening on CT, communities growing on CT, and ultimately just being very much aligned with both the market as well as the conditions that the market brings to CT, right? During a raging bull market, you have a lot more newer retail users that centralized exchanges are able to really tap into, whereas during a quieter market like the one we're in now, it's about the incumbents that have, continued to remain. And I think that's really what we're seeing now and why we're having a lot of success tapping into the DeFi side of Twitter and the OG side of Twitter, is because those are really the people remaining, right? And as market conditions start to change, I think we'll be in an amazing position to actually tap into those newer retail users, because ultimately what we're really positioning IDEX is as competitor to the centralized exchanges, right? So to answer your questions, we will 100% stay on top of trends, because that is our number one concern and our number one job.
Okay, cool. Next question from Big Team. Will the IDEX token need to be bridged from V3 to the new version, or will it go over automatically? Yeah, this is probably a product question. Alex, do you want to elaborate on this one?
Yeah, so if the question is probably most relevant for things like staking, the Polygon version, the bridge version of the IDEX token will continue to be used in the staking system. No details yet on where else the token might be bridged to, but we'll make sure that staking can be supported from any of the primary networks of the IDEX token.
Okay, cool. Next question from Crypto Delivery. What will be the maximum leverage possible on release day?
Good question. I actually don't know. Max 20, because that's, I think, what we're going to have as the max for Bitcoin and ETH. We don't really see much demand or need to go beyond that, but it could launch potentially with 10x. Get back to my point earlier about leverage and the amount of borrow in the system being a key factor on the risk that you're introducing. We may have leverage caps that are a little bit lower just while we get comfortable with everything in production.
Maybe holding an IDEX NFT will allow you to have 1,000x.
Victor's out here encouraging violence and 1,000x leverage. I think we should cut him off.
Victor's making me giggle in my seat. Okay, moving on. What are your future plans for all the IDEX token holders? So token holders specifically, what future plans do we have for them?
So, I guess we get this question a lot of like utility plans for the IDEX token. I think the plans are pretty clear. It's the value of the staking network, help run the application and get that percentage of fees. So, I think that flywheel that can be generated from that is pretty clear. We're continually looking at other things that we can do to, drive more usage of the application. And if that involves fee discounts, promotions, incentives, et cetera, for the IDEX token holders, we'll consider introducing those as well. But, I think that the key focus is on the staking network.
100%. And just to reiterate, I think additional utility, like being able to pay for fees or having fee discounts with the IDEX token, are really just small incremental additions of value to the token. Really, our number one priority is just that positive flywheel effect, right? Increased volume equals increased staking, returns equals happy stakers and holders. And that's really what we want to make happen. And it also means that positive flywheel then is able to affect IDEX positively as well, right? Then we have ability to onboard more users. We have ability to generate more promotions and incentives, and it just continues to go round and round and round. And that's our number one goal, is to jumpstart that positive flywheel. And then we will. I'm 100% confident people will stop asking for additional token utility if that primary core utility is doing its job, right? The additional utility through paying, discounted fees or whatever is just going to be a nice cherry on top. But realistically, our number one job is to get that flywheel going.
Okay, amazing. Many exciting things coming. So we've actually managed to get to the end of all the questions. There are a handful that we didn't get to answer simply because we need to actually go and figure out how to answer those questions. I can't actually decipher what they mean at this current point in time, but we will get back to you. Just a little some parting words. Once again, welcome to Rhys. Thank you, Alex, Victor, and everybody for taking the time to speak. Most importantly, to everybody that keeps coming to all these iterations of the community town halls, we appreciate you very much. So, little things to look out for. Watch out for the next Zeely campaign. Watch out for the Galaxy campaign, and watch out for more and more announcements as we go along, as we get closer to launch date. There's only going to be more and more things. So, once again, thank you everybody for coming. Please remember, in 2 weeks, we're going to be doing this again without fail. So we hope to see you again. More alpha, more NFTs, more rewards for everybody. So, we will see you next time. See you later, guys.